Okay, good morning all. This is, I'm house sitting and the lighting is really nice here. So I'm gonna do a quick flip through of my very first full-on junk journal that I made for myself. I made this, I made this size and format for my shop, and as soon as I put them in the store, they would sell out, which was kind of mind-boggling to me. But anyway, this is my junk journal. It's like 12 by 6 long format. I love seam binding tape, so I buy it whenever I can at estate sales and on eBay. This is an old calendar that I used as the cover, and I just decorated it with scraps of paper and napkin, and I did some stenciling on the back. Sorry, this camera angle is not fabulous, but you get the idea. So here we go. So where I used to live, an envelope recycled. There's a little pocket there you can use. Greeting card, paper sample. The pages are just old from my collection. I'm sorry, I've only had one cup of coffee and I'm not really very coherent this morning, but basically it's just a little scrapbook. Fortune cookie, coffee. This is an old garment tag from my daughter's clothing when she was a little girl. They used to have all kinds of cool stuff. So K for my first name. This is a bookmark I've had forever. Ruan. And then a prayer. Prayers for Children was a vintage book. And then on the back I pasted St. Francis Prayer for Peace, which I like. It's an envelope. Flap only. Sheet music scraps. I did haikus for every day for a year and then printed them out as photographs, and I sometimes cut out little circles of little words that interest me. My heart up by you, fill it. Little snippets here. Oh, this is stuck together. That's too bad. I like little half pages in amongst the pages, prayer cards, ticket stubs. I red rose tea that kind of got stained in the cup of tea. Words that I like out of magazines. Pictures that I like. I sometimes see these in Eastern Washington. I love the way they roll up the hay. They're really beautiful. Playing card. I've had this single chopstick forever, so I saved it. When I found a sleeve for chopsticks, stuck it in there. This I picked up on the street. It was all distressed, and this little bumpy sensation is from the asphalt. There's a letter from my daughter, an illustration, and an old card. Illustration my son made when he was a child. I'm getting over a cold, so excuse me. I just like graphic images. This is, I don't even know where that came from. It was obviously in some collection somewhere. Depot Car School. Railway. Blueprints from the church that I used to work at. They were throwing them away, so I snagged them. Cute little Christmas illustration. So they're just like random things that I like. Paper. This is from an old photograph card holder. You know, the graphics on that are from the 20s or 30s. They're really cool. It's from Seattle. Money, cards, tags. Napoleon Bonaparte. This is end paper. This is wallpaper that I bought online in a shop. Excuse me. An old book illustration, copper tape, obviously ledger paper. So it's just a collection of things that I like. These are all nature things from various trips to Eastern Washington. soap from a tag that comes on the bar of soap for my favorite bar of soap, which reminds me of my grandmother every time I use it. British, we keep calm and carry on. Envelope full of little things I like. This is from my former babysitter sister who was killed a few years ago in a crosswalk. Pedestrian hit by a car. It was so sad. Military stuff. I love this little. So for me, the junk journaling to begin with was just, I put together things that I've been saving, and I like to kind of stack them in interesting ways. This is a cool map graphic from a map to Bucharest, Hungary, which I couldn't get rid of the car. I love that. Foxes are like my totem animal, so I always like to collect foxes. And this is just a strip of map and a strip of map and another graphic strip. So yeah, I just play around with things and how they look and what I think of them and stick things in. And this is my favorite photograph of my son, who is now 25. I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good, which is pretty much both my kids. This is my favorite painter, and I'm having a brain fart right now. I can't remember his name, but I love his work. And New Orleans, that's when we first came to this country. That's where we landed in the 60s, in the height of the right before the Civil Rights Movement. So we didn't stay there for very long. My mother couldn't wait to get out of there. There's my daughter. We went to see the Yves Saint Laurent exhibit in Seattle. So for me, these things are just, they're things that I like. These are all a collection of end papers out of vintage books I've destroyed to make journals out of. But primarily these are just little collections of things that I like, that speak to me and remind me of memories. I remember going to see The Wizard of Oz in the big theater in Bellevue, and we sat in the balcony, which was quite thrilling as an 8-year-old. So I just kind of throw things together. I'll put a photograph in there at some point. Elizabeth Taylor, she was so beautiful. So I just kind of like frame things with things that don't really go together. And gift bag, don't remember the store, but I loved it. 1920s is my thing. This is from Condé Nast magazine. These calling cards are so beautiful. Wouldn't it be nice if we did this kind of stuff now? Stopped off to visit somebody and left a card behind if they weren't home. Playing cards. That's a cheap way to collect little miniature pieces of artwork. I shop on eBay quite a bit. I love this statue by Degas. It's in the Louvre. It's so beautiful. And then there's another little hidden treasure underneath. So, you know, these don't really seem to go together, but when I put them together, they do. So I guess my point for you guys is, you know, experiment. It doesn't have to be all stuff that you bought. This is tree bark that I found on a walk. It's birch. It's so beautiful. You don't have to buy a lot of scrapbooking supplies or just supplies in general. This is a art walk I participated in last year, which was kind of fun. This is one of those old-timey photos where they just used to have fun at the beach. Another map graphic and paper. So, you know, just take a look around at what you've got that you already own. And another garment tag. I mean, how sweet is that? Use what you have. You don't have to spend a ton of money to curate a collection of things that you love. Fabric from a magazine. And just stick them all together, and they're in one place, and you can play around with them and move things around. And just have fun. So there's still blank sections in this book. Like here, this is from a book. This is a greeting card. This is a cigarette thing. This is a stamp from Papyrus Cards, which they include in everything, and I hardly ever use them. Sweet little brother and sister reading a big old book. So just take a look at what you have around the house and use that. This, I did a class with a friend of mine years ago for Mother's Day, and we collected botanicals, pressed them, and then made monoprints, and then took those monoprints that we made and mounted them on a piece of wood, a nice framed piece of wood, and made a wall art, which I still have. It's beautiful. So that's it. So make your own junk journal from scratch. Create a collection of things that you love. Have a great day.